A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Brothers and sisters, welcome to the Youth Talk Dawah show. My name is Ebrahim Dar, and I'm going to be on. Well, I am now live on the Al Mubarak radio. It's glad to be back on air. It's glad to be talking to the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and to those people who are not Muslim and you just by somehow tuned into the show. Wish you peace and greetings, inshallah. Just want to have a quick introduction. Today's all about an introduction about what Youth Talk Dawahs are going to be all about. We're going to be on every Wednesday, I believe, from o'clock, inshallah. We're going to be trying to make this a very fun, interactive show where we can engage our donors, our listeners in the community. Ideally, talking to those Muslims who are living in the West, but as long as if you're from the East as well, that'd be perfectly fine. Because the whole purpose of Youth Talk Dawah is about dawah. It's about engaging with the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it's going to be about the problems that we are facing. Now we are facing problems on a regular basis, and we hear it in the news, we hear it in our communities, and a lot of people are affected by it. Some people get put off, they are afraid, they feel that the radio is not going to be as successful. Sorry, not the radio, but the jobs. It might detriment the job, it might put them in a funny, difficult position. um, People are got a lack of confidence about Islam. They don't understand how Islam into today's reality. And the problem we find with a lot of these things is because we haven't been trained, we haven't given that confidence or experience to go out and give dawah. That's why there is a lot of, alhamdulillah, there's a few powerful dawah organizations taking place across the country. These are the people who are out to engage in society. They're very confident to debate. I was talking to brother Abdullah Andalusi. We've got him coming down from London to Bradford. Now, this so far, it looks like it's going to be confirmed to be held at Masjid Abu Bakr in December. We've got a Christmas event taking place there, where we're going to be highlighting certain issues around the whole theme of Christmas. So please be tuned in. We're just waiting to get confirmed a big alim, inshallah, that can come down. A lot of them are fully booked. It's a last minute preparation, inshallah, to get a big speaker down. We are looking for that one big imam, inshallah, to come down to Bradford, and we're hoping that the whole of West Yorkshire is going to come to this special event by Youth Talk Dawah at Masjid Abu Bakr, Bradford, being with the blessings of Malana Fazl Dad. May Allah bless him, inshallah. And we really want to problems that are facing within our communities, in our societies. Now, before I get into a lot about Youth Talk Dawah, we want to be talking about our show. So if you want to call in and give me your views, if you want to call in message, please do so, because we want to know what are the issues that you think that need to be addressed. I want to know what are the problems that you think is happening in your area, issues that are happening in your mosques. Maybe are your mosques doing enough work? Are they getting involved in issues, or are they being very, very silent in it? Are they afraid? Are you having problems at home? If you're a youngster listening to it now, and your dad is probably giving you a bad look and say, better not be calling this guy on radio, quickly sneak on your our aim is to develop relationships, strengthen them between our families as well. There's a big, big distance between parent and child. Mothers trying to have all the love and trust for their children, but the children are betraying that trust. Fathers are getting very angry, suddenly have to become firm and disciplined. But is it too late? Has your child already gone off the boat already? And the reason I say that is because London, unfortunately, is 10 years advanced, you could say, towards West Yorkshire. Well, Bradford, probably 15, 20 years ahead of Batley and Dewsbury. What I'm trying to say is, so the parents here in the community are probably not as sharp or aware of thinking that these are problems that's going to be hitting them very, very soon. What I mean by that is the odd, not the odd problem that you find here and there. It becomes a big norm, it becomes a big reality check to find out So many sisters are messing around with the brothers. Our brothers are abusing our own ummah. Whether you is a Muslim or non-Muslim, brother shouldn't even be messing about with a girl in the first place, but it's happening. When I say for us, we say messing about, even to touch the hand of a girl, even to take down her, even to go out towards the cinemas with her, even if it's in a large group of friends. You see, we are not like the non-Muslim. We have to be proud to be a Muslim. We need to know, what does it mean to become a Muslim. Okay, these are very, very important things. So we want to hear from you. So please call 01924 472 776. If you're on YouTube and you're checking us out now on YouTube, you can see my telephone here, the mics are on. You can just give us a call. In the future, we're going to be having guests to sit by my side as well, and we're going to be talking. I'm going to be bringing on, inshallah, Muslim Bilal. In the future, we've got Logic, we've got other nasheed artists. They're going to be calling in, supporting the Youth Talk Dawah show as well, inshallah. We're going to be bringing imams to call in as well. We've got politicians calling in. We're going to bring everybody calling in, counselors to help and deal with specific issues. We're not there to deal with personal individual problems, but ideally we want to give advice. And our advice is normally generic, specific advice. Al Mubarak Radio, inshallah, in the future or very soon as well, inshallah, we'll be holding council meetings next door where we can give expert advice by qualified therapists, inshallah, qualified in the deen, as well as understanding the psychological problems that individuals will be going through, because we want to make our community stronger. Call 01924 472 776, or if you're shy, text or WhatsApp 07 I think it's an 07868476577. Inshallah, 07868476577. That's how I'm reading it. Or even better, please, 1924 472 776. We want to hear from you. We want you to call in. We want you to text or WhatsApp and give. Might be nothing to do with you. So when you do call in and you don't want it to be specific about you, don't give your name. You don't have to give your name, but you just want to know what is the issue, which area you call in from, and tell us what's happening in that particular area. It might be to do with you. It might be something that's happened with your friend. It could be something that you've read in the local newspaper. You might be asking questions like, in the newspaper the other day, Carlton Bowling College is unable to deal with extremism in a school. And that title, and they were talking about, there's problems with extremism in Muslim school, in a state school. And I asked myself the question, and I spoke to the newspaper, and I asked them, but there seems to be no evidence about this. There seems to be no evidence about this going on. So they responded to tell me, but we don't need evidence. Ofsted come, they give a little report, and we publish what Ofsted have said. But I told them, you can't be accusing Muslims of doing extremism activities in a state school where the state school doesn't know about it. But when Ofsted comes on board, the school says, yes, we agree, and we're going to do whatever it takes to get rid of extremism. Excuse me, we never had a problem with extremism in Bradford in schools. Nobody has ever gone to the Middle East or in UK doing acts of apparently terror. People haven't been taught or fed any of these ideas. You don't have reports of Muslims doing jihadi activities in schools. So where is your evidence? They said there is no evidence, but we'll try to get it. I said, yeah, please do try to get the evidence. Let people know what is actually going on in the area. It's very easy to say Muslims are this, Muslims are that. We are extreme, we are radical. What do you mean we are extreme and we are radical? Now teachers, subhanAllah, you could be a teacher, listen to this show right now. Teachers have a very, very difficult time. And I know in Bradford, they're going through a very, very difficult time. Birmingham, London as well. Main cities where there's a heavily dominant Muslim population of kids in school, where there's a lot of Muslim teachers, especially if there's a lot of governors who are Muslim in school. Well, most of them have been all sacked across the country anyway because you're a Muslim. That was enough. And really, what was it all about? Did they have big beards? No. Did they pray 5 times a day? Subhanallah. They should, but they haven't. So what was the issue? Why would you get rid of all these school teachers, all of these governors who are Muslim, simply because their heart is for Islam? Deep down, they love Islam and they want to hold Islamic values. They will share it. They believe in it deep down. That's why they have Iman. They might have weak Iman, but the fact that you have Iman, even if it is weak, is enough to get you out. Subhanallah. I actually thought it would be only for the people who have big beards, pray 5 times a day, and they do dawah. No, man, these are people who are clean shaven, they don't pray, unfortunately, or they probably pray now and then. And you always get the mixture of the people. And these are people who are counselors. Wallahi, Adeeb. I'm against the whole system of democracy, various reasons. Um, my deen is Allah's deen. It's not the deen of the disbelievers. From an Islamic point of view, even from a non-Islamic point of view, it's been flawed both ways. Um, so even people who participated and became councillors, trying to become MPs, even they getting sacked. Subhanallah. So doesn't matter how much you suck, you have to, suck up harder, and that seems to be the only way people want to get successful in life nowadays. And we are not going to be like that because we are confident people, we are positive people, we are people, inshallah, that can be a benefit to society. We can be a benefit to the whole of the United Kingdom. We can be a benefit to Muslims and non-Muslims, because that's what Islam is all about. It's all about letting people know what the truth is. It's all about letting people know. It's all about letting people know what kind of problems do people face, that solve those problems. That's what we are doing. That's what it means to be a Muslim living in the West. So like I said, because we have detached ourselves from Islam, we have detached ourselves from the Quran and the Sunnah. These are some of the problems that we are going through, unfortunately. um, Now, I can talk on all day, all night, and I am going to be talking on for quite a while today. But please do send a text message. Is that 07868
Yeah.
476577? So that's 07868 476577, or do call in 01924 4727776. Doesn't always have to be the sad, depressing issues on current affairs. It could be something positive. It could be something that Muslims are doing good in schools. It could be Muslims doing good in sports, athletics, Muslim and football. It's just all about current affairs. You call up and you tell me what is something interesting going on in your area, and we'll deal with that as well, inshallah. Okay. I'm always touchy about issues. The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, this ummah is like one body. You've heard this hadith many times. This ummah is like one body, and when one part of it feels the pain, is injured or whatever it is, the whole body feels that pain. And there's another, and so that's the issue about being one ummah. Then the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam also said, there's two hadiths, one was stronger than the other, meaning that when a believer, if somebody goes to sleep at night and wakes up in the morning and he is not even worried or concerned about the affairs of his ummah, he is not one of us. So imagine what it means, but you are not one of us. Imagine that you all want to go out together and somebody wants to tag along. You're not one of us. Stay away from us. Form your own jama'ah. Form your own clique, because this is the real clique. This is the clique of the believers who are doing the work and doing the action. You are not part of this ummah. You are not part of this clique that is bringing about the change, that is getting the reward, that is getting the blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we as Muslims should take this hadith very, very seriously, that when you wake up in the morning, worried about how smart you're looking? Are you worried about how people are going to look at you today at work? Are you worried about how pretty you are when you get ready for school? You know, subhanallah, I see 10-year-old girls now. I looked at my son's Kick app. 10-year-old girls acting like they're 14. They think they're some supermodels, posting their photos and their hair done up and, you know, all that head shaking going on. And I'm thinking, deep, man, you're 10 years old. And you know what was more deeper? Parents haven't got a clue because I'm reading my son's Kick, and it's blatantly saying, what is it? Be quick. Mom and dad's coming up, or they say somebody's coming up. You know, I can't be talking all the time. So secretively, children on mobile phones or on tablets or on the computer are chatting to their friends. And you know what? It wasn't even anything bad they're talking about. But the fact that they were even using the app in the first place, parents most likely either A, they don't know about it, or B, they do know about it, but they probably have times where they are allowed to use it. So these are kids, again, betraying the trust of parents. Now, I'm not going to blame the kid too much on this because I blame the parents. Your mom, your dad, it's your fault. You know, and the way I see it is because I'm strict. Let's say blatantly, I'm strict with my children. I see we are living in fire, man. We're living in the house of shaitan. I tell you that straight up, my brothers and sisters. This is not the land of Islam. This is the land of kufr. Meaning, and some people think this is very harsh. It is harsh. This is the land of disbelief. This is the land who challenge Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his attributes. This is the land that is challenging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his sovereignty. This is the land that is challenging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by killing the believers worldwide, robbing from the believers worldwide. And this is the land that is indoctrinating our Muslim brothers and sisters here in the UK to adopt kufr values, secular liberal values in their aqidah without them even knowing it, because they have plotted so hard. And Allah has told you in the Quran how they're going to plan, they're going to plot so hard that there's even enough to shake the mountains, yet we're not able to see it. You complain saying, you know what, brother and sister, look at our brothers today. They're all smoking drugs. Our brothers are all drinking alcohol because it's getting a lot more bigger. It's getting more popular to drink alcohol. People go on Jamaat. You know what? I know I've got a guy who goes on Jamaat. He goes on Jamaat for 40 days. That's what he tells his wife. What she doesn't know, subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's gone to see his second wife. See, people who've gone out to do good work, and you have people abusing it. Brothers who go on Jamaat, they're selling drugs as well on the side and on the dealer. You know, we have people abusing the good that people have done and created. And it's a sad state of affairs because how we are affected by the environment that we're in. Picture like a fishbowl, and there's beautiful fishes swimming in the bowl, but then you've taken that, you've polluted it. So now there's oil in that fish bowl. You want to save the fish. But what we are trying to do as Muslims is this whole idea of perfect the individual. We get the fish, we wash it, we even soap, it's shiny and sparkly, we put it back in the oil. That's what we're doing. We're getting fish, beautiful, dirty fish. We clean it. It's looking so beautiful again. We chuck it back in the oil. How is the fish ever going to be cleaned properly? It will only be cleaned properly when you get rid of the oil and put pure water in it. Get rid of the oil, clean the bowl, put clean water inside it. Then you put the fish inside clean water. It's a very simple concept. Very, very simple concept. Yeah, we do the impossible. Why? I have no idea. We can talk about individualism all the time, but we never ever talk about the reality and the problems that are taking place worldwide. Why is that? I don't understand. You know, when it comes to problems, subhanallah, you see a lot of the non-practicing Muslims leading it. You know what I mean? Palestine demos. Palestine demos are run by who? Ulama? No. They can't even lead one demo, mate. Who's leading it? Sometimes sisters with no hijab, brothers who don't pray, politicians are probably trying to get your vote so they lead the demo. Non-Muslims who have nothing, but they only see there's battle taking place, there's falsehood taking place, and they said somebody has to do something about it. They do a demonstration. What do some imams respond? Astaghfirullah, brother, demonstration is haram. La ilaha illallah. They're speaking out against an evil. The most you can do is say, mashallah, well done, which is what lots of other imams are doing, saying, mashallah, well done. And then they tell their people to go ahead and join in. Why can't you lead it, Sheikh? Why can't you lead it, Maulana? Because you know, it's the problem when the non-practicing people lead it. It's free mixing, becomes like a nightclub going on the demonstration. Mashallah, the demonstration purpose is fantastic. But then it's boys, girls hugging together. Some people are just excited because it's a demonstration, so they've got a hype going on. That's what's going on. And then a lot of the people who talk garbage. Seriously, I haven't been to a proper demonstration apart from the Islamic ones, which nobody seems to want to attend because they're small in number. Those Islamic ones are the only ones that have a proper message. They call Allah's name. The solution is for Allah, and the problems, they understand it from an Islamic perspective, and they give you the solution from the Quran and the Sunnah. But we don't want to attend those ones. We attend the big, massive, fitna kind of style demos. Why can't our imams become not just a man standing on top of the minbar, but why don't you stand in the middle of the town hall, man, and guide this ummah? Get all your volunteers, your madrasas, your people who are students, get them to become volunteers. Get them to be stewards on the day. Let people know, brothers at the front, sisters at the back. That's all it is. Let the non-Muslims join in. See, the non-Muslims should join in on our stand for our non-Muslims should be done in a proper way as well, and say, wow, look at this, man, this is how it's done. What's more important is that your message has to be powerful, man. It's sad that the message is not powerful. However, I give those people credit who do organize it, because if they're doing it for the sincere work, which is to please Allah, and they said, you know what, that's wrong what's taking place, I might not, but if I can do something about it, I'm going to do it. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. It's all about, we're the prophets of Allah. You tell me of an example of the prophets of Allah, all they do is sit inside a masjid. Give me one story or any prophet that all he did was pray all day and masjid. And all he did was fast, was look after his family. Find me one prophet that did that. The great Sahaba. You find me a great Sahaba that all he did was sit inside the masjid all day and read and just teach tafsir all the time. That's it. You find me one Sahaba, that's his specialty. That's all they did. They didn't do that. The lives of the prophets of Allah, they're the examples. They didn't do that. So why are we not doing it? I don't understand. I don't understand. Do you know why? Like one of the great ulama Sheikh says, he says it's because we are weak. We do what suits us. We do what is comfortable for us. We do shortcuts. The problem is there is no shortcut in Islam. Look at the life of Prophet Lut, the nephew of Prophet Ebrahim alayhi salam. Prophet Lut alayhi salam had to speak out against the crimes that were taking place in his area. The crimes, and there were those people that he was with were barbaric, there were thieves, anybody coming in is going to get robbed, and the bigger problems that they had to he had to deal with, and this is the first time it ever got introduced, was the homosexuality problem. Homosexuality problem. Wallahi Azeem, there's homosexuality problems taking place. We are afraid that we don't want to talk about it because of this, because of that. Look, Prophet Lut had to deal with it. He had to deal with it, and he was the odd one out pretty much in his society. It was so bad that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had to send down angels to come and destroy that nation. That's how messed up it was. That's how messed up it was. Did he stay silent? Did he ignore the main problem taking place? Is that what he did? What did Prophet Luke do? He never stopped them to wrong they were doing. You know what? People say all you do is talk. And you know what? I respond to those people who say all you do is talk. I said that's what all the prophets of Allah did, was talk. Even the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in the Meccan stages, when he was given dawah, until he had the power and the nusra on his side, all he did was talk. And brothers and sisters, your tongue will make you a believer, and that same tongue can make you a disbeliever. You can be talking garbage, you can be talking about, haram, you can be talking about good, you can be talking about that's taking place. All it is talk. Look what happens in the Middle East. All they did was speak out against their rulers and said, we don't want you anymore. That's what they did. They didn't pick up guns. They didn't pick up machete. They didn't go around chopping people up. They said, we want you out, man. We're fed up of you 40 years in our land, persecuting us, robbing from us. We want you out, man. We want a different leader. What was the response of the leaders? They slaughtered this ummah. They slaughtered you from Egypt, Syria. It's still going on in Syria. May Allah give the ummah victory there. It happens in Iraq. It's happening all over the Muslim ummah. They spoke, and the response in Yemen as well, the response was kill them. Because maybe if we kill them, we're going to shut them up and everybody's going to go back to normal, being obedient servants, not to Allah, but to us, like dogs on a chain. That's exactly how they try to make you be. You ask Muslims today, there's a problem going on. Who's going to go to a talk? Are we bothered to go to these talks? Are we bothered to go and attend or even organize our own circle, saying, you know what, brother, there's an issue going on in Syria, let's discuss about it. Brother, Muslims are getting penalized country. What's happened to Asif Khan, a school teacher in Bradford, is getting penalized for nothing. His other teacher colleagues have been going through so many internal investigations just for apparently protocol. That's what they're talking about, apparently protocol, that we just have to make sure everybody's under control in this school. Vicious interrogations are taking place. Teachers can't speak. You know why? Because if you speak, you're sacked. You'll be dismissed as a teacher. They can't open their mouths. They have to stay silent. Governors in Carlton Bowling College all sacked for nothing. Apparently can't deal with extremism. They were completely baffled. They don't even know what the Elia was even talking about. This is all about the whole Trojan horse thing. I've got Faisal now calling me up, inshallah. Now I'm talking about his brother's case, inshallah. Brother Faisal, can you hear me? Wa alaikum assalam. I've got your air on Al Mubarak Radio, my friend. Is that all right? You're on air on Al Mubarak Radio. Hi, how you doing? Yeah, no, we say assalamu alaikum, my friend. Okay, now I'm putting you on radio because the reason that we were calling you earlier, I was just talking about your brother just now. I don't know if you're listening to the show. Are you listening to the show? No, I'm not. I was just in the car, actually. All right, cool. Well, you're live on the radio, my friend. You're live on the radio. And we've been talking about your brother as you spoke. So you got me right on time because we're talking about problems that are happening in Bradford, problems happening in the Ummah worldwide, but people don't even understand problems that are even happening in their doorstep, in their own neighborhood. And there's obviously issues that have happened at Carlton Bowling where all the governors got sacked for nothing. You've got your brother now in a situation where we believe that he is trying to get him well. We feel sorry for it. But what I'm more concerned about is that the people are not in touch of what is going on around them. The people are not involved or willing to get involved and speak up for what is actually going on and defend what is going on, because it could happen to anybody. It could happen to your local imam, right? And if your imam gets locked up one day, this ummah is so dead they won't even do anything. That's the honest truth and the reality. So we need to make a change. What do you think?
Yeah, I think when you distill it down, you know, people are reluctant to what they know is right, but they're reluctant to speak out. You know, so we need people to stand up and speak of what's going on. I mean, in the first instance, a lot of people don't know what's going on. They have no idea the politics that are being played out, the way that our community is being demonized, not even accepting that. The ones that are accepting it and that do know are not speaking out. Because if a few people speak out, then what happens is those people get targeted and marginalized and they pay the price for the rest of the community. And we don't move forward. But if many people stand up and speak out about any wrongdoing, then we start to pave the way for change. That's the reality. So people need to do that. That's all that is required, is for people to speak up, speak the truth of what's going on. Now, the situation, lists like Calton, the way the media has dealt with it, it's basically criminalized Muslims. What it said is Muslims are the enemy of the state. That's what it said. And it's provided no proof for that. It's what it's just provided allegation, and the media has just picked that up and it's just run with it. And basically, any Muslims that have a voice, that are trying to make some change, that are trying to improve our lot within society, have been taken out. And this is what's happening. Now, on the whole, the mullahs have been quite silent on this, and maybe they're looking for leadership. But they are our leaders, they're moral leaders that need to stand up and speak about what's going on. Because they can come for someone like me, tomorrow they'll come for somebody like them, and they will come from the madrasa. This is just the start of what's happening. And it is frightening, honestly, because...
Well, Faisal, let me interrupt you there because Faisal, sorry, let me interrupt you there because this is going on radio. This is live on YouTube. We've got people outside of West Yorkshire. Some people are listening to this show outside of the UK, in South Africa, many other countries. So, alhamdulillah, this is Al Mubarak Radio. If you go on my Facebook, you'll be able to find out. Can you give the audience a brief understanding of how this all began, starting from the whole Persian hoax issue at Carlton Bowling with your governors? What happened to yourselves?
For us, look, even now, the truth hasn't unraveled itself. I've been associated with governorship for about 8 years. What I've been trying to do is improve the attainment within schools. And so I was involved in the 2 schools. One was based by Carlton Bowling. I was chair of the governors at Carlton Bowling. And I worked with people nationally, to basically raise the aspiration within our community. The results went from 29% GCSE English Maths to 50% in 3 years. Now, I think what happened is that whatever happened in Birmingham, they've associated me with that. They said guilt by association. And even though they hadn't openly said that, they've removed us from the governing body at Lakeside. And what I said is that the brothers were holding the school back, which was not the reality. The reality was that we were holding them to account. So they removed us from Lakeside. Then, stuff started getting leaked into the press. Eventually at Carlton Bowling, you have one of the fellows at Henry Chester Society, which is a neocon, the right-wing organisation, which is linked to Grove, which is linked to the Queen Foundation. So they put a complaint in saying that we'd been linked to an extremist organisation. Bizarrely, they linked Interpol, which you're part of, and they said basically you first because Interpol is a UK-based charity. It's registered with the Charity Commission. It's completely bona fide. There's no complaint against it. The only complaint they had was 3 years ago, and that was from the US government, the Israeli government, and it was found to be not guilty. So you have Ofsted coming in, judging us as government, saying you failed to set the case against the risk of so-called extremism, and they were calling Interpol in this. The way they've what they should do. Ofsted should be working to a framework. They didn't. So instead of inspecting us, in essence, what they did was it was more like an inquisition. They wanted a particular outcome. They came in and they made sure that we were removed as governors. The facts were irrelevant to them. They were not interested in the facts. They were only interested in what the narrative that they wanted to cut out. So it was a witch hunt and it was an inquisition. And their only objective was to get rid of me from Leicester and from County Bolling. That's what I believe that they intended to do, and they were successful. Now, I have brothers who work in both of those schools. Certainly, assets has been suspended. And I can't say too much because it's in due process. But when it finally comes out and you look at some of the stuff, you'll be absolutely astounded. And the lengths that people are going to, and the smallest of links, and the way they're stretching and over exaggerating, his views, and trying to paint him into a corner. And my belief is that, irrespective of the facts, the chances are they will probably try to remove him from that school. And I feel my other brother, who's head of maths at the other school at Leicester, I mean, he just got the best ever maths result in the history of that school.
Subhanallah.
He's got the best ever maths result, and I think he feels he's being singled out, and the only reason is
That's the unfortunate thing.
So they can do it to me, an elected member of the council. They can do it to me. They can do it to anybody.
But that's what I was talking to the viewers earlier on. You're a counsellor. You're not no Tom, Dick, and Harry. You've been doing a lot of good for the community for a very long time. You've been serving. You're a head governor of the schools, and you've been doing a lot of good for them. Yet they were easily able to not just yourself, but sack all the governors, which were predominantly Muslim, at both schools. And this is probably, well, we feel this is something to do easy with Islam as a whole, Islam as a value system, because there is no reason why they should have got you sacked.
And it's not unknown to know that the Labour and Conservative have a coalition against the mayor there, and the mayor is Muslim. And again, they're targeting these schools, they're redefining the term extremism. They're saying that anybody that opposes democracy is now an extremist, right? So, see, if you believe in communism or whatever it is, any other type of governance system that makes you an extremist. And what they're also saying is that you're religious conservative, therefore you are also on the pathway to extremism, which is ridiculous. Because that says anybody who prays in the Namaz 5 times a day, believes in their faith, is now being classed as an extremist. And the government is defining who a Muslim is and who a Muslim isn't. And if, I just don't understand. And also, this thing about they say a healthy democracy is the one that has a free press. Well, I know with my interactions now, and it was shocking for me to learn this, is that the press really was not interested in the final truth. They were just simply interested in putting a story out.
But I'll tell you one thing, I spoke to...
Independent, and it's just factually completely wrong, and yet it's been put out there, and they don't care. I've got evidence to show that it's completely false.
But I did speak to Chris Young at the TNA, and I did ask him, you are apparently in the latest article that he wrote, I think 2 weeks ago, that Carlton Bowling, even with the new interim governors, they are still facing a lot of issues to do with extremism. And I told him, excuse me, but I don't believe this is even true. And he goes, well, our report is based on Ofsted. But I told him, you better go and publish another article to state that this is Ofsted's report that has no basis, and they are not willing to share the evidences of how there is extremism in Carlton Bowling School. And we are then being tarnished with a name with no evidence at all to state all of this. Now, as far as you're concerned, do you think extremism is a problem at schools in Bradford?
Definitely not. I mean, look, Carlton Bowling College was, in terms of the prevent program within the local authority, it's one of the schools any extremism going on.
So let's let the people who do not know who put.
What they're saying is, what they're saying is that you fail to protect the kids against the risks of extremism. So, for instance, you can also put that charge that they're failing to protect the kids against the risks of a plane falling out of the sky, or the risks of the window falling outside of the building. It doesn't mean it's happened. What they're saying, you're not protecting kids against the risks. So what they want you to do is actually introduce children to the idea of extremism. I think it's actually counterproductive. That's what they're saying in essence. And what they're saying is, I mean, again, factually incorrect, the Ofsted report, what they're saying is that the safeguarding policy hasn't been ratified. Well, actually, on the first Ofsted inspection, the safeguarding policy, the updated safeguarding policy, was ratified a week before the Ofsted inspection. So they're not interested in the facts. What they're interested in the narrative, and maybe they just want to example and say, look, he's broken here, now fix it, even though it was never broken in the first place.
I think at the same time, what they want to do is make a fear factor for the rest of the community, put a fear factor on them for all other school teachers, all other schools, that anything to do which has got Islam involved with it, we've got too many Muslim teachers. We want to make sure you understand that if you don't shut your mouth or you want to talk about whatever you might want to talk about, just in case you want to do anything, these people are the guinea pigs. These are the people that they haven't done no crime, but we'll punish them anyway. And we'll do the same to you.
What I was really proud of at County Bowling was particular to County Bowling, is our children did a lot of charity work. You know, they got clothing, they raised money for food. And I think in Bradford as a whole, I think that was a really good school of doing that. And maybe people like the Henry Jackson Society see that as a threat, because today young people who care, who want to improve their community, they will be tomorrow's future leaders.
Well, I'll tell you what is more interesting, my friend. I'll tell you what is more interesting. Carlton Bowling College, which is probably 90% Muslim students, at the time have 90% probably Muslim governors, was so tolerant that they even did the whole Anne Frank Holocaust thing, about the whole Holocaust with Anne Frank, but never did Carlton Bowling recognize that this is what Muslims do by repaying them, by doing something for Islam or doing something for Palestine. They wanted to rob the whole Israel sadness and sorrows, which was something that happened decades ago. But when it comes to a current affair on Palestine, they completely ignored the mass killings, unjust murders that were taking place. And then they've got the nerve to say there's extremism taking place at their school.
It's a complete joke. I mean, look, in terms of our schools, we were, we're very tolerant. We've got a small population of Eastern European children, which is the EVA department. We employed teachers of Eastern European language skills. We had Roma Gypsy Week. We had drama. We even say that we're Muslims are anti-drama, anti-music. We had drama for new to English children. So they're the kind of things that we did. So it's not the kind of picture that you get paid in the Daily Mail or, these sort of right-wing newspapers. As governors, as Muslim governors, I proposed it, and I said, look, we should have something that recognises, the struggles that happen, in Gaza. So I myself had been to Gaza. I wanted to do an exhibition, the children, the schools that we've gone to. But, you always feel there's sometimes there's resistance to recognise the cultural, spiritual background of the children that actually attend there. We never do anything to the exclusion of anybody else. We'll celebrate anything, really. But when it comes to, the fact that 90-95% Muslim children, you want to celebrate what they do, sometimes I always felt there was a reluctance to do that.
All right, you tell me this, Brother Faisal, as well. Pardon your brother, Asif Khan, who's still going through a lot of, disciplinary, whatever you want to do it with the school. Whatever's going on with him now, and I'm sure that he's going through a lot of stress because, I am the culprit who organized the big demonstrations. I think the school hate my guts for it, but I'm proud of the people that have turned up for those demonstrations, as well as the other brothers who've organized the other demonstrations, such as Shafiq and crew. Now, it still has been a very poor attendance though in general and support from the adults from our community, like you said earlier on, for Asif. If not for Asif, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and themselves, we need to have this community to start getting involved with current affairs, local affairs that are taking place, and they need to start getting involved and showing support and become people of action.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, look, with Asif's case, to our community, and he's been very outspoken. He's got obviously political views. In essence, what they're saying is, if you're a Muslim, you're not allowed to have political views because of the kind of pressure that's being applied. Now, we get to see what the outcome is, but it doesn't feel good. It seems to be driven by the same people who drove the Trojan horse.
As far as I'm concerned, though, there is nothing really. Now, because I looked at his Facebook and everything, I haven't seen anything controversial that he's actually properly done.
There's nothing controversial.
But that's the whole point. There is nothing. If there was something controversial and there was evidence about this, this would have been done. This would have been finished long time ago. This is still an ongoing case. I believe they're still trying to make him probably say something, or that they've got no evidence. And this is what the people talking about. We want evidence. If Asif Khan, your brother, has done something wrong, then we tell him off, kind of thing, yeah. But we want to know what has he actually done, because it's caused such a massive hoo-ha, you know.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing is, look,
At least and then private conversation, and you lot deal with it privately. But what has he been even accused of? Nothing.
yeah, I mean, staff do get into difficulties, things happen, but there's a proportionate response. Now, I was saying that if there is something, then this is a disproportionate response. For it to be even considered, the way it's been considered, the way it's been dealt with, it has to be something really significant. And there really isn't anything of significance here. What I do know is that when I was at Lakeside, there were issues that we as governors we were dealing with which were significant, and we followed due process. We followed it down to the T. But in terms of the support from the local authority, we got zero support from the local authority. In the contrary, what they did was they put an application to remove us. So instead of supporting and saying, actually, you guys are following the law, you follow DT guidance, what's going on is wrong, completely wrong. We should back to the governors. You're the people in charge. They look at the teacher and they conspired to remove us. And I've written a report on that. I've submitted that to the council. Even though, let's see what they do with it. But it's due to go to the scrutiny committee. Because as governors, we've got nothing to hide. Because we've done nothing wrong. But the people who are making these, put these rules out, put these lies up, they've got a lot to hide. And they're not coming out. They're not telling us exactly what they've done, what they said, what the allegations are. And what they do is something small, they over-exaggerate it, and it's something big that they're guilty of, they downplay it. And that's how it works.
Well,
I've actually had that behavior throughout my life, so I'm so used to it. But our community need to wake up because they've come for me, they've come for my family, we're paying the ultimate price.
well, other people have gone worse.
Everybody else, look up for them for the rest of the next, don't care.
But that's especially to the Muslim community, Sheikh Faisal. Sorry, Faisal Khan. What do you call it? Especially to the Muslim community, that it's a very simple message. They need to become active, and they have to stop hiding wherever they are hiding. They have to show some kind of positive support and stop being afraid. They have to stop being afraid. There's a hadith that talks about this ummah will one day become large in number, but they're going to become like froth, like the scum that you find on top of the water. And and they said, why would that be? Because they said they have wahan, which is love for the dunya and hatred for the akhirah. And you know what, my friend, I think I see that in a lot of the practicing religious brothers, people with big beards, they pray 5 times a day. Sacrifice anything for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for what they have established, whether it be a business, whether it be the family, whether it be the homes, whether it be the masjids. They want to do whatever it takes to keep the little good that they have got in their life and forget about all the major issues and problems that are taking place. And I think this is why we are in a problem. The kuffar have to do their job, i.e. the non-Muslims. They do what they would, that you expect them to do. But what is the problem is that we are not doing what we are supposed to be doing.
Well, look, I mean, the thing is, if there's injustice, you know, at least you stop it with your hand. If you can't do it, at least use your tongue to speak up about it. And if you can't do it, at least say it in your heart.
But the question is, we can speak out.
I'm not even saying it in the heart anymore, honestly. I'm really shaken by what's gone on.
No, the hadith is on capability. If you haven't got the capability to do it with your hand, then you speak out. If you haven't got the capability to speak, i.e., if you're deaf, or if there is a problem that is going on in Jamaica and you are in Bradford and there's nothing around that you can do, then that's a different thing. But we have got the capability of speaking. So the hadith where it says hate it in your heart, that doesn't even apply in these situations, because we have the capability to speak, but we choose to ignore the hadith. And that's the other problem, Faisal. We pick and choose the ayahs of the Quran that we want to follow. We pick and choose what seems to be suitable and easy for us, and we ignore it. And Allah warns the Muslims about this in Surah Baqarah, the people who pick and choose the parts of the deen that they wish to follow. It's like you rip up, you're ripping up the pages of the Quran. You're only keeping the pages of the Quran that looks interesting to you, and the rest of the Quran you chuck it in the bin. This is the reality.
People send, people on WhatsApp, on Facebook, people sending messages about all sorts and having intellectual discussions. But really, honestly, it's not doing anything. What matters is when you act, you speak, right? And you know, when it matters, that's what it matters. And we need people to have a bit of courage to speak up. You know, if there's an injustice, just speak up, because that's how we get change. But if it's only a few people, they will pay the price. And many will pave the way for change.
Inshallah.
That's what's going to happen.
Inshallah. Brother Faisal, we're going to end it there just to let you know, Alhamdulillah, Maulana Fazl Dad from Abu Bakr Mosque in Bradford has supported an event of mine, Youth Talk Dawah event that we're going to be doing, inshallah, in the December holidays, inshallah. And in that course program, we're going to be talking with you, hopefully, as a speaker to talk about your brother, and you will have, hopefully, a whole audience to address that to, inshallah.
I'll be off in Pakistan around December, but
Well, we'll get somebody else to talk about your brother. You get me as a representative to talk about the update of your brother's case, inshallah, because that needs to be done. So you find me the best suitable person for that, if that's okay with you. Barakallah. Thank you for calling. Inshallah, we'll speak to you soon. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. There you go. You just had Brother Faisal, Councillor Faisal Khan from Bradford, who's a councillor. He's been doing a lot of good work in the community of Bradford. Just to be stunned by the response of having all Muslim councillors or all Muslim governors sacked from both schools of Leicester Dyke and Colton for something that never even occurred. The result of it, all ignored. Nobody stood up for the brothers. Nobody stood up for our sisters. They lost their jobs. They got accused. They can never become leadership in the community, in the education field again. All based on lies. And what hurts me so much, my brothers and sisters, what did we do? What did we do to support them? If something happened to Mr. Al Mubarak Radio today, I want to know, what kind of a ummah do we have? What kind of a ummah do we have? If somebody wanted to take Al Mubarak Radio off air for whatever reason, do we have an ummah to say, you know what, we've got 20,000 followers, and we have an ummah, apart from signing petitions, yeah, which any Tom, Dick and Harry can do we have an ummah that's going to do the best to say, Mr. Umar Al Farouk, We loved you. We loved your show. We loved the great things you did for my children. How are we going to repay him back? How are we going to do that? If your local imam of your masjid just got taken away, just like Mozambique did, 6 or 9 months, just to be released when it comes to day of court. Oh, no, no evidence. Off you go, released immediately. But if that happened to your local imam, or if you are an imam and you're listening to this right now, where will your ummah be? Where will your ummah be, inshallah? That's something that we want to know. You know, what have we developed? What kind of an ummah do we have now? Because I'm worried about our future generation. I'm worried about all the good people who are doing great work. I'm worried about this ummah who love Allah and His Messenger, and for doing good for me and you, and for your children, and for your wife, and for your parents, and for your khandan, and for the non-Muslims. You know, when they are doing good, our response by saying thank you to them is silence. It's to just to get on with our own life, let them take their heat, and we just carry on with our cushy way of life. How much money is rolling in our hands? Is that what? Just to make sure our families are happy and jolly and everything is nice and easy and comfortable? This is what hurts me. And this is what puts me into tears. And this is why we say we need an ummah who's going to start giving dawah. We want an ummah who wants to get involved with the current affairs that are taking place locally and nationally. We want, and internationally as well. Come on, we talk about internationally. Why? You know, things are happening in Syria, but you know what? The government is really interested. They talk about a caliphate. The government is very interested. They talk about Palestine. The government's very interested. But who's not interested is the Muslims. They are looking at everything politically to see how can we stop the ummah of rising, becoming united. What do we do? Nothing. You know, all on these big issues, non-Muslims read more about our own deen than we do. That's how messed up it is. You know? Wallahi Adeem, I wish people just spend more time reading less Quran and now doing tafsir and understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about a lot of the times in the Quran, and study the lives of the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and look at their life and said, this is the struggle and the sacrifice that Ebrahim went. This is the struggle and sacrifice that Musa went through. This is the struggle and sacrifice that Isa went through, Lut went through, Nuh went through, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam went through. This is the ummah that followed them, the ummah that followed Isa. Look what happened to them. The ummah that followed Nuh. Look what happened to them. The ummah that followed what do you call it? The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and Musa. Look what happened to them. They never compromised on their deen. They never compromised on the deen. They got persecuted. They got kicked out of their land. They were put through starvation. They had to go through the migration. They were everything. Sumayya was getting killed, martyred in front of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he told her to have patience, for Jannah awaits her. And she said, Ya Rasulullah, I can see it happening already, coming. In front of her, she's getting killed. He spoke. And my issue is Muslims living in the West now, today, here in the UK. Your duty is to speak. Your duty is to open that mouth and make use of that tongue. This is a warning to you. And Allah will now account you on the day of judgment every time you're silent. Every time you are silent, Allah's gonna count you on the day of judgment. We need this ummah to rise, inshallah. And that doesn't mean being stupid. That doesn't mean doing something daft and silly and swearing. No, that doesn't mean that. This means giving dawah, calling people to Islam, calling people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, looking at the falsehood that is around you, the falsehood of kufr, the falsehood of their values, the falsehood of their deen, the falsehood of their general way of life, the falsehood on how they treat their children, the falsehood on how they treat their parents, the falsehood and the injustice on how they treat their wives, and how they're playing around. People, the non-Muslims don't even want to get married because they can't trust their husbands. I spoke to a lady many years ago, about 7 years ago. She had been with her boyfriend for 15 years, 3 children. I told her, "You just marry him." She goes, "Hell no." I said, "What do you mean, hell no? You've been with him for 15 years, 3 children." She goes, "Nah, man. If I want to get married, I want to get married to somebody properly, somebody else." She didn't see it fun to get married to this guy. You know, there people don't want to get married. Getting married in this country is like a nightmare, because if you get divorced, look at all that paperwork you're gonna have to go through, and custody and this, that. Saying, hell no, man, forget this. Why get married anyway? They don't even see the benefit and the need to get married. And I know this might sound hard. I'm using this language as a definition of vocabulary in the English language dictionary. It's not a swear word, but we are surrounded by bar, because in the dictionary that means people who are children, illegitimate children. That's the definition of it. And that word is a harsh word of saying it. That's what we are surrounded by. That's in the English language dictionary. It's not being referred to as a swear word. We're talking about the actual definition here. And why have I chosen that word as the actual definition? Because wallahi, this is what we are surrounded by. We are surrounded by a nation where children don't know who their fathers are. Women are getting pregnant before marriage. Our ummah in East London, the abortion clinics are full of Muslim sisters. Unfortunately, this is sad news. We have problems, and brothers and sisters, we gotta be changing it. We gotta be acting. We've got to be getting involved in the dawah, because when you're involved in the dawah, you're able to change. Now, I'm gonna move away from this topic, and I've been going on a lot about it, but it's something that really touches me. Inshallah, we're going to be bringing a big push and everything. We want to talk about something else now. Let's talk about, unless you want to say something, text or WhatsApp. The number to text or WhatsApp is 07868 476 577. Get a pen and a paper always ready next to you, so you're ready to note the number down. If you're on Facebook, Al Mubarak, you can get the number there. Otherwise, it's 07868 476 577. That's the number to send a text or WhatsApp on. You want to criticize my show, you want to say something positive about it, please do, because it's all benefit for, so I can improve. Or you can just call in, be brave, and talk. 01924 472 776. This is an interaction talk show, inshallah. Next week, we're going to be hopefully bringing Brother Irfan Hussein from Bradford down, or Mufti Saeed, or we might even have the two of them down next week, inshallah, on next week's show. Topics haven't been discussed as yet at the moment or planned, but it will be on the Al Mubarak website, Talk Dawah Facebook page. Both Facebook pages on Al Mubarak and the Youth Talk Dawah Facebook page. So please like both Al Mubarak and Youth Talk Dawah on Facebook, inshallah. Now, very quickly, on a complete different note, a lot of the youth, we want to encourage you not to get involved in listening to music, especially the youngsters. Our parents, myself, whoever it may be, might have our own problems. We might have our own issues, but we want you to be better than the elder generation. We want if you're getting involved in the music scene, whatever it may be, we want you to be away from it. We want you to get into real hip hop, spoken poetry. Then we're gonna have our guest Logic that will be coming on air for Interpal, and he'll be a judge to find out the people's best spoken poetry competitions that will be coming up. So if you think you're good at writing, you've got some good lyrics that you want to come out with, hip hop, rap, whatever you want to call it, is all spoken poetry. That's the same thing, no difference. It's all poetry with a flow. So some people speak normally, some people have a different flow, ain't got any musical instruments in the background. Um, this is your chance to find out more information. You can check it out on the Al Mubarak Facebook page. All the information is there. I believe it's on the 5th of December. So you can start practicing. It's always good to have some new lyrics. And if you've got some really good lyrics and you want people such as Hamza Dora to sing them for you, or you've got other people who might have a better voice and you can become the lyricist, your name will be on that album, your name will be published out there as well. I know you're not going to do it for fame, but we like to credit people for the good work that they do, inshallah. So if you like singing songs, you like writing songs, we want you to be creative and come up with your own lyrics, especially if you can get talking about some lyrics that are affecting the people today, affecting your community, and that could be some inspirational, motivational speeches, inshallah. We also like to talk a lot about marriage and divorce. You know, we've always got databases of people to look in to get married. I've got a guy who was calling me up earlier on today. He's almost 40 years old. He's a graduate at Al Azhar University. He studied at Makkah University. He's been in Islamic school all his life. He still can't get married. Subhanallah. He still can't get married. He's like, Ibrahim, even if the lady is divorced, even if she's got children, find me a sister, please. As long as she has respect for Allah and His Messenger, that's all I ask for. As long as the sister is sincere. You know, he's been a good guy. He has never messed about with a woman in his life. He teaches at a madrasa in Milton Keynes. You know, I'm just doing a little shout out to him. Um, Yet he can't get married. Sometimes I don't know if it's to do with racism because he's a black brother. And, you know, I'm thinking, you know, are Asians really that racist? I don't know, you know. If you're an adult and you're listening to the show now, would you allow your daughter to get married to a black man? You know, theme, because this is the things that we do admit that there is still this racist and nationalistic problems are still inside of us, and this jahiliyyah in our hearts is dangerous. And we know about the hadiths of what used to happen to Bilal and the Prophet, peace be upon him, talking about people who had traits of jahiliyyah still within them. These are things that we have to get out. And wallahi adeem, when I'm telling people I've got a brother who's a student of knowledge, he knows his Arabic, he went to Makkah, he's been to Medina, and he went to Al his father is a sheikh as well. You know, if you want to get to know him, the woman have to go through his mother. You know, basic standard procedures. And I'm thinking, because he's black, you know, and then you're complaining that you're divorced and you've got children, and yet some people's sisters are still complaining about that. I'm like, la ilaha illallah. You know, this is serious stuff, man. Again, I want to help this brother, but our shows, we're going to do special shows on marriage and divorce. The divorce side is to really to motivate the sisters again of getting married. It's very difficult and sad to see a sister who's trying to raise children, especially sons, in today's society. I've met brothers as well who complete. There's a brother I've met. You know, I was talking to a sister. The guy even denies, you know, that the kid is his own child. Forget even looking like a spitting image of him, which is probably the more obvious thing. He just wants to deny it because he doesn't want to take any responsibility of the child. He divorced his wife just to get married to somebody else that he can get married. And the sister, you know, she's confident she's going to get on with life, but our sister has to grow up in that situation. You know, this is sad. This is sad news, man. You know, and then at the same time, we have to be fair. There's, you know, it's happening the other way around where sisters are, you know, cheating on husbands. You know, if we want our children to be sorted out, you know, if we want our children to be sorted out for the sake of Allah, for your children, try not to get a divorce. And if you have to get a divorce for whatever reason, do it in a proper manner. Do it with humble, do it with respect. Have a respectful communication so your child can grow up with knowing mother and a father. You know, people. I know a girl. She wanted to. You know, she hated her ex so much after causing so much problems. She even changed her son's surname. She put a court martial case that she doesn't want the father to see the son ever again for no reason. But not for no reason, but it's because obviously they didn't get along with each other. But what's that got to do with the child, man? The child should have known who his daddy is. The child has the right to know who his father is. And I was speaking to the brother, and he's so mentally upset by it, he can't even move to take things forward, you know. And I know, wallahi, I think there's tough times, tough times. If you want to show support to those sisters and brothers who are going through those difficulties, motivation, calling to talk about it. As I said, you don't need to obviously identify yourself. You're shy, don't want to talk, send a text on a WhatsApp. I spoke to some girls when I was on Fever FM not long ago, last month on Leeds, and the sisters are telling me, they don't get any support from family. In fact, I just met a girl 2 days ago in Bradford in my office saying the same thing. They're not getting support from families. When they're getting divorced, it's like, you have dishonored our family. It's because of you. You should have been stronger. You should have been better. And okay, the divorce has happened, even if the family didn't agree with it. But the divorce has happened. They've gone through with it. You don't dump your sister or your daughter and tell her you're not welcome back inside this house anymore. You don't do that. Come on, man. You don't do that to our sisters, you know? And even if the system was wrong, at the end of the day, life is all about giving people another chance, starting all over again and fix up your ways. Now, if you're listening, you're the messed up person who has caused all the problem, and you're the reason why everything is the divorce, you need to fix up. Now, we can't feel sorry if you're the one that's causing all the problems. We have to be harsh and firm at the same time and say, you know what, you need to fix yourself up. That's for something you have to do. You understand? You can't go around racking your husband up. You can't go around nicking his money. You can't go around insulting his family. You can't go around, blah, 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 blah. You need to shut up. You need to fix up. And you need to take a deep breath and understand what granted. All right? Otherwise, you're going to just go get divorced again. I know a girl locally, and she's got what, 5 kids from 5 different husbands. She's been divorced that many times. Same thing happens. Divorce, gets married, has another kid. Divorce, gets married, has 2 kids. Divorce, gets married again. This time she had divorced with no kids. Wallahi Adeem, and we have to mature and get older and understand that, stop messing about, man. Life is serious. This is, you know our children are just going to go out messed up because you were not there. You were not there for your children. You were not there to raise them. You were not there to guide them. You were not there to love them. You were not there to take them out. You were not there for anything, man. This is accountability. Their children is an amana. You're bringing them in this world not to become thieves and drug dealers. And what would be sad if the child goes up and says, well, I didn't Islam, I did nothing wrong. Where were you, mum? You were out in a pub, in a club, or cruising in holidays. Where were you, dad? So busy working 12 hours a day, come home, watch Bollywood dramas every time you come home. You never take me out. I know brothers in Bradford who've never even left Bradford apart to go to Pakistan. Now that's deep, man. They could be 20, 25 years old. Where have you gone in your life? Bradford? Where else? Pakistan with the family? Where else? That's it. Ask the guy in Bradford, we're going to go to Yorkshire. He's like, where's Yorkshire? They don't even have the understanding of the geography around them. I said, we're going to Sheffield. Is that up in the north? I said, no, man, Sheffield's south from you, man. What? That is the reality. It's my days, man. But anyway, going back to the point of marriage and divorce, we're going to do a special show. One day the show is going to be helping people who are divorced. One day will be a show to find looking to get married. If people are looking to get married, to do it through the halal way, where they can contact Al Mubarak or they can contact myself at Youth Talk Dawah. But I will pass your details only to the girl's mahram, i.e. her brother or her father, or they can go to a local imam where they can meet up with it if they're from the same area, we'll tell the details to go to the local imam where the people can go to the masjid and they can go and get to know each other. Parents, the fathers can get to know each other, inshallah. That's the only way it's going to be done, is through the halal way. And you have to respect doing things the proper way. If you want to have a happy marriage, you have to start off by doing it the right way, the Islamic way, inshallah. So that will be our marriage show. Then we got a big event, inshallah. It's all been okay with Abu Bakr so far. Not gonna make a big hoo-ha about it as yet, but it's going to be a so-called Christmas event taking place at Masjid Abu Bakr, inshallah, a Youth Talk Dawah show taking place there. We have the first speaker, and he's going to be talking about the reality of Christmas. Now, I don't know about Batley, Dewsbury, or wherever you are right now, but in Bradford, almost every single halal food shop has turkey on that Christmas time. And everybody's grabbing hold of their turkeys, and it's on the 25th of December, and it's all the Muslims getting their halal big massive turkey out and having their halal turkey dinner. We've got Muslims with Christmas trees up. You see in the restaurants when you're driving around in Bradford. It happens in London. I know Muslims were giving Christmas gifts to each other. If they're not giving it to Muslims, they say, well, I know non-Muslims, and they literally, wallahi azeem, and I'm watching this. This is a good thing when you do dawah, because you get to know everything that's unity. And you're seeing aunties, not talking about sisters, aunties, in the 40s and the 50s, go into their non-Muslims' houses, make that special effort to walk to that non-Muslim, wrap up a nice, beautiful Christmas present, and say, Merry Christmas, Jane, Merry Christmas, Kelly, and they give them that nice Christmas gift, because they give them Eid gifts, so we give you Christmas gifts, and it's all about peace and harmony and all that nonsense people talk about. Wallahi adeem, this is why understanding your iman aqidah is massive. And when I go to the restaurants, now this is an imams, man. Now this is how, when it becomes deep, you have brackets ulama telling people in Bradford that if we can celebrate the Prophet's birthday, why can't we celebrate Jesus' birthday? And you got that kind of topic going on. And which is the more dumb thing about all of it is that Jesus wasn't even born on that day. You're celebrating something that didn't even happen. And there's just these million flaws, and you got these Muslim restaurants with Christmas trees and decorations, and they like it. Their children enjoy it. And when it comes to Eid, our Eid is all stuck inside the house. All the family get stuck inside the house again. So now it's all cramped up. We give our kids lots of money. God knows where the kid goes and spends that money. And let's face it, Eid is so boring. I've never seen Eid enjoyable until I go to London. Why? Because in London we have a Jama'ah. Just like Jummah is meant to be outside of a mosque, which I don't know if people don't even know the ruling on Jummah, but you're not even meant to be doing your Jummah Salah inside the mosque. It's meant to be in the big, massive courtyard. The same rule applies to Eid. Now, when I asked the ulama in Bradford, they said, yeah, it's true. I'm like, why didn't anybody do it then? They said, we got your back in, but you know what it is, they come to the mosque, let's down. And then I was like, oh, God, come on, is that real? So I thought, what, the people in London weren't making a hoo-ha. You know what, in Birmingham, this year in Eid, after Eid al-Fitr, 40,000 people was the Jamaat size. Could you imagine that in Birmingham, organized by Green Lane? This time they've made a smackaroo, smashed it in their park, and 40,000 people turned out to that Jamaat. And I thought, wow. And being in West Yorkshire, Bradford, the third, largest Muslim population after Birmingham, fourth is Manchester, and we can't do it, man. We're still, when I asked the ulama, they said, don't worry, don't compare things to London, Bradford's 10 years behind, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, come on, man, let's do this. So we're going to be pushing Eid outdoors. We're going to be, trying to get Muslims not to get involved in Christmas, but we want Muslims to get involved in Eid. We want the businessmen to sponsor it because we want to give people breakfast on Eid. But that's what they do. I live in a white man area in South London. My family, we come from an English area in Surrey, yeah, in South London. And we get about 500 Muslims coming from all different parts to do Eid Jama'ah as an Eidgah on the day of Eid in a non-Muslim area. And we have a Muslim area and we can't even have an Eid going on there. So come on, let's do proper Eid. Let's spend on Eid. Let's make Eid fantastic. Let's make it a dawah opportunity as well. Let the world see Muslims praying. Let the world see Muslims in the front. Women participate in Eid. I know we've got a backward society sometimes and women have to be, chained, wherever. I don't know why, but Eid is one exception that everybody knows that women can go and participate in Eid. Get them out there, get them covered up, obviously, but get them out there. Just like we do it in London, the brothers in the front, a massive gap, sisters at the back. We have separate facilities, food going for the brothers, food going for the sisters, bouncy castle for the children, games for the children. That's what Eden Park's all about. I run Eden Park in Bradford as well, and we want you to also be part of that. But going back to the point, which I keep on going off track, Abu Bakr Mosque, we're going to be doing that event. The first talk, Abdullah Andalus, talking about the reality of Christmas. The problem with Christianity, this whole idea of pagan worshipping that, in which the Christians adopted and now Muslims are adopting. The whole Christmas tree is to do with pagan stuff, but Muslims have bought into it. That's like saying, I'm going to wear the cross, which is part of Christianity, but I'm not going to do it out of Christianity faith. I'm doing it because it's fashion. Basic understanding of Aqidah that Christmas tree is shirk. Wearing the cross is shirk. This is the greatest crime you can ever do towards your Lord. And you just come in with excuses after excuses because our iman is weak. We don't understand. We haven't developed a taqwa. We're not willing to love for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the problem over there. So that's where Sheikh Abdullah Andalusi, who is a convert to Islam, like myself, we speak Portuguese. He's got a Catholic brown family. All about the whole Christian, and he is a famous debater. He debates a lot with the non-Muslims on issues. He comes on TV, so he is a big fish. He's fantastic to listen to. Very deep, powerful guy. If you ever have a problem in your area and you need somebody big to have a big debate with somebody about proof of God or whatever it may be, he's a big timer. He's a big debater. So he'll be coming to Abu Bakr Mosque, inshallah. And then you've also this is not confirmed, but we're looking for a big alim, inshallah, to be coming down to the masjid as well. We've got a few options already. We're just waiting for the confirmation for an alim, and they're going to be talking about the lives and the struggles of the prophets of Allah. We're going to be having an update of the charities. We're going to be having a quick update on the local issue with Baba Asif Khan. Then it'd be following about what is our role as Muslims living in Britain. Allah has a country for a reason. Do you know what purpose is? Do you know our purpose of life? Do we know how to fulfill that purpose? That's what the talk's going to be about. Abu Bakr Mosque, date to be confirmed. We're hoping it can be on the 25th of December. So instead of having your turkey, you'll be listening to a nice, beautiful bayans at the local masjid. We hope people from all over West Yorkshire will be able to turn up. Just checking that everything's going okay. And that's the main thing. If you want to give a quick call in, it's been very silent, but 01924 472 776 is the number to call in, or you can text or WhatsApp 07868 476 577. I don't know what the plans here are at Al Mubarak Radio. I've tried it out before. I'm going to be trying it out again, and this could be something interesting for people. I'm doing a nasheed play, inshallah, for children. A nasheed play. That doesn't mean that any kid who knows how to sing will be in it, but it's going to have a lot of acting to the nasheeds that they're going to be listening to. The whole idea of this is to perform as Islamic play where children and people can benefit from the whole play and by the nasheeds, but through the actions as well. It's like you're watching a music video, if you know what I mean. A music video like you watch on YouTube of an artist performing a nasheed, but the nasheeds will be ideal for children. Most likely is going to be part of the Zakir album soundtrack, and we're looking for children who want to participate, who are confident in acting as well as confident in singing to be part of our play, inshallah. The money will be raised for charity. Maybe we can get amazing nasheed artists such as Hamza and other people to be judges and help with the recruitment. And then we're going to have a choreographer to do these things. And that whole idea is that you can go to different masjids and we can go to schools and events where we can perform just a nasheeds, but not just, like I said, it's not just about singing, it's about acting. So how we do wudu, how we pray salah, what does it mean to be a Muslim, all of those songs. They've already been songs that have already been done and dusted already, but we're bringing it into fun, into action, inshallah. Why? Because this is what people like to listen to a lot of the time now. Lots of people like listen to nasheeds, and a lot of people like to see an act to go with it. Now that's something that doesn't normally happen. Um, so it'd be interesting if we can get people to get performing in the Arab community. And when I go to Manchester, they always invite me to these events, and the kids on the Arabic Saturday Sunday schools, they do a lot about this, and it's big in the Arab community, very small in the Asian community. But parents, if you can watch Bollywood dramas, mate, I'm sure you can watch kids do some beautiful nasheed plays. And imagine that, man, going all over West Yorkshire at least. People might even hire you a lot to go all the way down south, all over UK. This is the aim, inshallah, that we can get people, young children, to not just to be able to sing, but to be able to act the songs that they are singing, which will hopefully be something beneficial, inshallah. So if you are interested in singing some nasheeds as well as acting, just let Al Mubarak know, inshallah, and we'll take your name and your number from there. And hopefully, you can do some live nasheeds on the show as well, inshallah. I'm sure you'll probably be doing something like that in the future coming up soon, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, even my son's now on the whole nasheed vibe. He likes it. He's been getting a lot of feedback and views now, alhamdulillah. I just take whatever from my hands and I just chuck him on stage, and alhamdulillah, people are liking it. But I have to remind him, it's not just about singing nasheeds, it's all about Allah at the end of the day. It's not about you trying to get the fans making loud noise and you get this whole idea of fame. The whole purpose is that we can sing something decent and we can get closer to Allah. It's another form of dhikr, but it should be like a part-time hobby kind of thing where you can focus on the real work, which is dawah, inshallah, inviting people to Islam. Now, I'm not sure how long we've got left for the show. Ready to finish, inshallah, because I've been talking for an hour and a half. Like I said, today was just more of an introduction show. Not prepared, like I admit. However, it's an introduction show. Hopefully, next week we're going to have Mufti Saeed on board and Brother Irfan Hussein. We're going to be it will be updated on the Al Mubarak on Facebook, inshallah, what our topics are going to be. We do hope that you do enjoy our show. Please give us any feedback at the moment. The number to call is 017, text 07868476577, or leave a feedback on the Al Mubarak Facebook page. And we'll see you then. Jazakallah khair and assalamu alaikum.